Hi everyone, welcome to the 100th episode of the Zicast. Usually I say, as always, I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, but today I'm actually not. I'm going to be interviewed by Anthony Aicardi, episode 50 guest. As you could tell by the fact I'm on the other side of the table. So what do you have to open with, Anthony?
I'm your host, as for today, Anthony Aicardi, and I think we should get right into it.
Just one comment before we start. I gotta say, this is gonna be tricky for me because I gotta. Whenever I'm thinking I'm gonna go back to Ryan on the TriCaster, I'm like, oh wait, no, he's on the other side now. So
yeah, and
extra difficult.
And that's also a great way to shout out episode 31 guest Liam Chen.
Oh my God.
Yes, I'm here too. Hi guys.
Who at this point has technical directed more episodes than anyone else of the Zicast.
Woo!
And I'll give him more of his flowers as we continue on in this episode, Anthony. But yeah, we should. Well, actually, I wanted to open this up by kind of giving you a little like a backdoor pilot idea that I have of this. Is that I think you would really excel in having a show similar-ish to the Zicast, where you interview people, where kind of similar to something one of our guests on our podcast, It's Like That, said about you, that you're very empathetic and kind and white. Grace Van Dale, she said that about you, and it made me kind of think that I think that you would excel in interviewing people in your own way. And of course, a lot of comedians who have podcasts have multiple podcasts, and I think if you wanted to, I'm curious to see how you would excel in this kind of form. So yeah, this could be like a fun little backdoor pilot if that's something that interests you.
That would be cool. I've never really thought about it. But
I'm also getting your live reaction because I didn't bring this up before right now, but I just want to put that out in the air.
I think that would be cool. I mean,
we won't beat you up if you don't do it, but
yeah,
it's just throwing it out there. You got the personality.
Yeah.
Well, people say I have a big personality. So, have you seen Thunderbolts?
I have, yes.
Have you seen Thunderbolts?
I've yet to see it, but I definitely want to go see it.
I feel like I would just be the Thunderbolts version of you. Like, I would just be like the C-list version.
No.
Or maybe I'll be like the Miles Morales to your Spider-Man. Ryan,
yes.
For the first time you've ever been asked this on this podcast, why don't you start by telling us about yourself?
This is hilarious to throw this back on me because I always just give people this like blanket question without like
not so easy.
Much more
Yeah.
Well, a lot bit about me. I'm from North Haven, Connecticut, which is nearby Quinnipiac University in Hamden, Connecticut, where we're filming this. I am an English major, which always surprises people, and a minor in film, television, and media arts. And I've started this. Well, I've run this podcast called the Zicast for those who are unfamiliar for. At this point of this recording, about 2 years now, and we're now on the 100th episode where the roles continue to be reversed on me.
So, let me ask you this. When did the first Zicast episode come out?
The first Zicast episode. So, like, the process of starting that or the actual date?
When was the date of the first episode that came out?
Liam can fact check me here. I believe it was November 9th, 2023.
Wow.
With Jeff Ish.
We can throw some Jeopardy music on right now while I check.
Well, while Liam checks,
yeah,
I don't need to know the exact date, but that's like 1.5 years.
Yeah.
18 months of your life.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. How has it changed?
Yeah, it's crazy because, I mean, I've stole the story because I've been helping produce a podcast for Quinnipiac in my time working for the productions house here called Who Are You, which interviews students and faculty about their lives. And
first guest?
Yeah, I was the first guest, which was a great blessing. And they were kind of centering it around the Zicast, where I kind of explained where it started. And it was really just a way to archive experiences with friends because admittedly, I never really had a ton growing up. And then I get here and I'm in all of these spaces with other communication students, whether film students, you and I in the Sketch Comedy Club Quinnipiac tonight. And it was almost like overwhelming to like know so many people and to like actually be making connections with them. I thought it would be really cool to just bring people in here, talk to them, have it on a recording, and then I can look back on it in like 5, 10, 15, whatever years and be like, oh, that was me and this person at this point in time. And I knew it would be something really special. And then over time, people were liking it, they were interacting with it, and it was teaching me so much about like running social media pages, running a YouTube channel, adjusting to what people want. And I became like a sort of like a folk hero. I don't know if that's the way to put it, or like
niche campus celebrity.
Yeah, niche micro celebrity on campus and at random bars when people will say like, "You're the Zicast," or "Hello, Ryan Ziaks," and they must recognize me from this. Yeah. And it's funny because I have like this like cult following of people who will be like, everyone has a story whenever they see me, or our comedy podcast, It's Like That, where they'll say, it's like that. So it's been so fun to have something that people like so much, and that people will bug me so much about wanting to come on. Like a lot of like there will be people where every time I see them, they'll be like, so when am I getting on the Zicast? And people would think that would be annoying, but it's not annoying because I'm just happy I created something that people want to be on and want to watch and want to interact with on social media or on YouTube. So that's really where the Zicast is gone. And then it gave me the opportunity to work in podcasting in Los Angeles, where I was able to record episodes there, which it's still mind-boggling to me because it's this really professional studio, and they were gracious enough at 7 Keys. Another thing I talked about when I was on Who Are You, and they let me record episodes there. And it's wild that podcasting was something that was never on my radar, and then it became something I was known for, among many things, I hope, as like a creative person, as a writer, as a filmmaker. But podcasting became the kind of my legacy, at least here at the school, and that's something I'm very happy for because of what I was able to do and just be something that people remember.
Well, that was pretty blanket. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
It's hard to answer.
And I can confirm now the first Zicast, at least published on YouTube, was, episode 1, Jeff Fish, November 1st, 2023.
November 1st. I remember the 9. It must just be because the 1 and the 9 look semi-alike.
Yeah. And that it could have been uploaded at a different time from.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was thinking either a 9th or the 19th. It's interesting. It was, there was a 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Jeff, who we know, of course, we have our cool little group with Jeff and our buddy Joe Flynn, where we like all kind of look a little like each other. So we call each other like literally me. We point at each other. We have a million different photos of us just doing that at our Quinnipiac Tonight show. And even with Jeff, I talked about him because you and Liam, you were on my holiday special where it was like this like giant, where basically I was interviewing people about their holidays. Yeah. And I brought up to Jeff as that like he was one of the first people I kind of met here, and I can tell I was going to be really good friends with him. So like it was great that like I could bring him on the first episode and then get closer with him over time because we barely even knew each other, but that's something that like was almost like foreshadowing. In that way. That's fascinating. And that's fun to look back on with Jeff's first episode. There is a fly.
I was gonna say, dude, I got attacked a second ago.
Yeah.
we got a bonus guest crashing. Wait, does this fly count as a guest?
Yeah, we gotta find it.
Fly. Tell us about your what's your story? What's your story?
You know that episode of Breaking Bad where they're like trying to find the fly in the lab? This could be like the like spirit of something like reincarnated.
Oh no, Anthony's got a water bottle.
Yeah.
Don't go for a window, dude.
Yeah, a window or any of the equipment in here.
It's on the camera.
Yeah, or the camera.
I just wanted to.
All right, we'll let him be for now.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like Zyjacking your interview.
What the fuck, dude?
All right, Liam's got this, guys.
Oh shit. Is that him? Yeah. Oh.
I don't think that's. I don't think no. I see it right now.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah, Liam. I'll do some play-by-play. Yeah, it's fine. Liam's got a binder.
Fuck, dude, he disappeared to the window.
Liam's a little bitch.
Where'd he go?
Yeah.
I feel like I want to just carry on, but like every time we go to talk, he like dives.
Yeah.
I gave the old college try. That's what they say.
Yeah,
Old
exactly.
college try.
That's what I've been doing as of lately. A lot of college tries.
So, tell me, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
you said you didn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I don't want to say why is that, but what changed from ignoring the podcast
Yeah.
and focusing on you?
Mm.
How did you change?
That's a very profound question in terms of how I changed. A lot of it just boils down to confidence. Like growing up, I was picked on a lot. Like I mentioned, I didn't have many friends, and I don't know. I've always felt like not that many people thought much of me or believed in me.
Yeah.
And that's another stark contrast I got to my time at Quinnipiac, where a lot of things happened very fast because I was only here for 2 years, my junior and my senior year, because I transferred in as a junior. And I've always said that I'm in a state of disbelief. And it's a lot of times when like they're like naming awards after me at the Quinnipiac Film Awards, and when people see me like on stage, for example, at Quinnipiac tonight we had a senior show in our piazza, which is like kind of like a big area. People were watching, and then they're like, I mentioned my podcast and people are loudly cheering. I mentioned our podcast, it's like that, and people are loudly cheering. And it's a lot of something like when I was in school, like nobody really knew who I was or really cared about who I was. And it's a lot of like how that happened so quickly here versus however many years I was in North Haven, Connecticut, where people didn't really know who I was. And not blaming anyone else, of course. I was always very shy. I was always a bit of a recluse and
More introverted,
very much introverted, more than I would still consider myself that now, but sometimes I tap into more to be more extroverted if the situation applies for it, like here. But yeah, that's kind of where I was at, and a lot of that is also the COVID impacted me in that sense too, where it made a lot of my worst qualities even worse. And I had a lot of mental health issues too when I was leaving high school.
Yeah.
Issues with my weight and health. And then that kind of led me to not, like at first I didn't want to go to college. And then I just went to the school because it was close by and not that expensive, etc. And over time, there wasn't much to do there, but I also didn't think much of myself for my time there, and I had a lot of nasty thoughts in my head about myself. And I don't know, eventually something clicked. I was always very close to my grandfather, and he was sick, and I used to help care for him alongside my family, alongside nurses, and he ended up passing away. And that ended up being, I don't know, in a way that led me out of school. It was just a big change in my life. Even though I had already been thinking about transferring schools, it's something that kind of set me into gear, and I don't know why. Maybe it was just seeing that change, seeing someone passing on, and knowing and seeing it more as a reality, to where I always wanted to be a filmmaker. I always wanted to write and that was never really available at my school. And I kind of just saw, I don't know, it was just kind of like I had an epiphany where I really wanted to change things, and I wanted to give myself, it's weird to say it, or like a second chance. Yeah. And then that's when I came to Quinnipiac, because my older brother had gone to Quinnipiac, and I didn't really have many expectations coming here outside of, I hope it's better than my last experience. Yeah. And I want to do whatever I can. And that's really where the disbelief comes from, is that if I look back on myself 2 years ago at the time of this recording, I'm like a completely different person in almost every sense. The way I look, the way I act, the way I can interact with people. It's very much night and day, and I'm sure anyone who would know me from my time in school would second that. So kind of a lot of convoluted way for me to get to that path to answering your question, Anthony. But yeah, that's kind of like, because whenever I tell the story of how I came to Quinnipiac, it's very watered down in the sense of like, I wanted to study film.
Yeah.
That's always what I tell people, just because it's the simplest answer.
Yeah.
But it's also very surface level, and something I definitely wanted to do with this episode is it not to be surface level. And so that's like more of the truthful answer in that regard. But really I just wanted to change, and that change came in very unexpected ways.
I think the universe, whether you're religious or not, I think the universe knows when the lake water is getting flat and you kind of need some ripples. Yeah. And whether it's a light stone or a heavy stone being thrown into the lake, it's still going to make the ripples. In your case, I'm sorry for your loss, even all these years later. But I think sometimes when we're in a rut and it's not something light, it's like deep-seated, like insecurities, lack of confidence, heavy things. I think sometimes we need to shake things up.
It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
I'll say that. I can speak from experience, man. Like it's not easy, and I think that was really cool to just hear you talk about that just now, because like you said, I had heard you wanted to come here and study film and stuff. But yeah, just like taking a leap like that, it's huge, you know what I mean? And it's not something that like from an outside perspective, it's like, oh, you just switch schools. Yeah. But for you, it was like really a deeper thing. It was almost like a fresh start, and you know what I mean? It's even when you're in a situation where like you're not happy, you're not getting what you want out of things, it's still easy to become like very comfortable with that situation. So even though you weren't in a place where you wanted to be, even taking that step to better yourself or do something that you think would be more positive for yourself, it's a huge leap, dude. And like the fact that you're able to do that and in my opinion stick the landing here, like it's inspiring, dude, for sure.
Thank you. And I know people go through way tougher hardships than switching colleges.
It's not about switching colleges. I think it takes time, and you have to look at yourself and say something is wrong, something is not working. And I think there's a version of you I'm going to just stick here and grind it out. And you get another 2 years of nothing. You're still a lot more caved in, a lot more not being active in the things that you enjoy, not building that community. And I think that just comes from human nature and being complacent. I think your strength is that I think when a lot of people are struggling, the first thing that goes is that that focus, to keep moving forward and keep trying to grow and move to new things. And I think sometimes life sends us a wake-up call, like in your case. But And like, I don't want to focus on this anymore because I want to talk about you now, and I want to talk about the new and improved Ryan. But I think it's healthy to look back, especially now if you have a midday or if you have a bad day. Yeah. And you can say, look how far I've come, and look how far I can go. Because what's really nice about you, Ryan, is that all of this has been so good. And it's only been 2 years. Yeah. Just think what the next 10 years are going to look like for you. And there's so many question marks. But the best times in my life personally are the ones where I had the most question marks in front of me. And the worst times in my life, especially this year, are the ones where I didn't have a lot of question marks, and I kind of knew every single little thing that was going on. Like, for example, start of this semester, not great, right? Weather is bad, didn't love my schedule, but it was a lot more of the same, you know? Like, I didn't have any question marks up ahead. Like, I didn't have a, oh, what's my roommates looking like? Oh, it's the same thing as the fall. Oh, what's my classes looking like? Oh, it's more of the same or just less good. Oh, what's Quinnipiac's night looking like? Oh, it's more of the same. But with you, it is always, I think in those first 2 years of college and a lot of years, this is who I am. This isn't going to change. Like, I'm not loving myself a lot right now. And, like, up until sophomore year, you kind of, I'm going to just stay here. I don't really know what I'm doing, but, like, it's whatever. But you come here, new school, you don't know how it's going to go. You join clubs, you don't know how it's going to go. You start a podcast, you don't know how that's going to go. You know, every new semester here, you don't know how it's going to go. And I think what's so special about you is that you are one of the most active people I've ever seen in my entire life. Physically, because you're jacked as hell. Like, and I'm so jealous. I, like, want to be you. Like, but I think you're very brave. And I think, as Liam accurately and intelligently said, it takes guts, it takes balls to do what you've done, especially week after week, month after month, working on yourself, on your projects, on school, on growing yourself as a person. And I think that's really special. And I think, let me ask you this. If you could go back to yourself coming into that freshman year, what would you say? And what would you say to that junior version of Ryan coming into Quinnipiac?
That's a brilliant question. That's why I think this backdoor pilot pitch
my God.
There's a lot to it. This is always where my brain's going nowadays. But yeah, that's something, reflecting is always hard for me because I'm always looking ahead, like you mentioned, with question marks in your life. And that really, and you mentioned that things kind of always happen for a reason. To summarize what you said, the really brilliant allegory you gave us before, it's hard to what I would say to myself as a freshman, because I feel that.
Would he even listen to you?
I don't think you would believe me, more so. And what I would say to him, I would tell him to have patience.
It's a hard thing to hear.
It is, yeah. I think that would be,
because you can't do anything.
Yeah, it's not as much as what I would tell him. It's just to let those things play out. Maybe that's something I need to listen to now with my fears for what my post-graduation life would look like. But yeah, back then, I mean, let me think about this. And you mentioned what I would tell my junior self when I first entered here. It's almost would be the same thing, because I was expecting more of the same when I got here, and obviously there was much more of a on the contrary. But I kind of reflect on also what you said about not being content with pain, because I don't know if I would still be here, period, if I didn't make that jump. Because I was content with the way that I felt and the way that my life was going. And not being the person I wanted to be, I was kind of falling into, this is just how it is. Yeah. And
it's not that you can't recognize that things aren't great, but it's like, this is all I am. This is all I've been. Like, I don't know anything else. And I think people get that misconception of like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? But what happens when you don't know which direction to pull yourself up from?
And that's very much how I was back in that time where, yeah, like I mentioned, like I didn't have a clue as to where I was going even when I got here.
Yeah.
And I remember I mentioned this too in my senior speeches. Again, it's more of the I don't want to say sugar coated, but I think about what I said to Quinnipiac tonight. Of course, with the entertainment news show I'm a part of, Liam is also a part of. We were also on the desk for the time during our senior speeches. We gave them together. I joked that I used it as a time to aura farm. I kind of did, but I tried to impart these lessons onto people. But then I think about what I said to Quinnipiac tonight, which is that Q30 television show here on campus, ton of former guests from that show, is that it really did change my life. And I wanted to kind of explain or use this opportunity to explain why it exactly did, more than people will know. Or even though my time in Q30 television show wasn't always perfect, life isn't always perfect. And it taught me also that the good always outweighs the bad in a lot of ways, in a lot of situations, I should say, or typically outweighs the bad. Maybe I shouldn't be putting that out there, but like what Q30's given me will always be more than what it took away from me. Of course, both you, Anthony, and Liam were a part of Up Late when late night show I pitched to Q30 that they didn't end up greenlighting, which was a phenomenal experience that I'm very grateful for. Even that's something I'll mention here very briefly, not to hijack the show again, Anthony, but creating that was something also when I talk about people like knowing me, because that's something that I never felt that people knew me and that people were jumping onto the show I was pitching, which for those who don't know, I basically was just pitching a late night show to the television station here on campus. It would be once a month, just like a collection of like funny non-scripted bits and live shows things, and it was basically just a collection of all my friends. And it was wild that so many people were invested in my idea and even would do things for the club when I couldn't be there, when I had work or other obligations. So it was something that was another thing that really kind of baffled me in a very profound and positive way, is that people cared that much about something I was trying to do, even when the odds of it becoming a reality or a true reality, a greenlit show, were essentially nothing. And that's something I never tried to believe, that it's something that I wanted people to believe in the project, and people did. So that's something I took to heart very deeply after I didn't work out, because so many people believed in it and it didn't happen. And inevitably I blame myself for that, but I also reflect on the fact that so many people put in so much time for it, which was something that affected me very greatly. So that's another thing of my experience here that was very in my face of just how different things are. And
I think that's a really good like marker of growth though too, because it's not even like you know, like we're college students. It's hard to get people to do anything, man. You know, everyone's got such a crazy schedule, but like, you know, I don't think people would have just shown up for anybody. You know what I mean? I think it speaks to like the connection that you build with, that you're able to build with people, because like I said, like it's not easy to get people to just come out for these shows. So I think that's just like a huge marker of growth, because like, you know, again, not to hijack your story, but like I can definitely relate to being a person that like, you know, it's you know, you fly under the radar, you know, And, at surface level, everybody kind of thinks, okay, they don't think badly of you, but they don't think anything of you either. You're kind of just there. So to like be able to, bring people together, like, in this environment, I think it's huge, dude. And like it really shows the progress that you made,
Thank you, yeah.
And especially, like we've always said, like on such a short time span that you've been here. It's just, I think in a way, like, I think the whole experience has like really been a catalyst for like a overall bigger thing in your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's easy to look at these things as milestones, but they're milestones in a way bigger race. You know what I mean? That, you're still running. And I think, sometimes you start off the race slow, but it's all about going at your own pace. And I think you're on a path to win.
Thank you, Liam. That's very profound in its own right. And I agree. I think Up Late, now that you say that, now that I think about it, it really is a microcosm of my time at Quinnipiac, and that it was a collection of all of the people I know creating this big creative project, and it was just a passion project. And I reflect on that, like on my end of the semester Instagram post. It was a picture from that show because that was the defining moment for me. Probably the defining moment of my couple of years here at Quinnipiac was being able to put on that show. And I'm of course grateful for you guys for being there and for everyone else, because like I said, like literally just about every close friend I made on campus was there, either helping the show or in the packed, because it was packed with people. I've never seen that many people in the piazza here at Quinnipiac watching a show for anything than it was for that. And that's where I really, really believed, I'm like, this could be something. And like I mentioned, it didn't get picked up, but it really was just something I'll always remember fondly and always look back on fondly, and the people who were involved in it.
I think you're saying a lot of interesting things. I think Liam is right. Liam, you're pissing me off because you keep saying what I'm thinking.
You're just putting me on telepathically. That's what
no, we're just linked up.
It's like that.
It's like that mental link.
Yeah.
I can speak on everyone that was a part of it's behalf. Is that it would have not worked. People would have not shown up in the piazza, and people would have not shown up to that very first meeting and that very first group chat if it was anyone but you at the helm. I think what you haven't realized is that you have become a leader, and because like it or not, it was your ship to run. And we went up with you, and we went down with you. You were like the secret ingredient, like the X factor for it. And all those people, they want to show up. They want to see what this new show is about, but they want to see what you have in store. You know, it's. I know nothing. I know a little bit. I know nothing about the Odyssey. But night one, I'm sitting in that movie theater because it's a Christopher Nolan movie, and I know what kind of work that he does. You're basically better than Christopher Nolan. That's what. But my point is,
put it in Christopher Nolan terms,
is that your name has weight to it, and doesn't have a lot of people's. Don't have that. I think the majority of people don't. But I think the true mark of a good leader is that when they speak, people naturally listen. And that a leader steps up and does the hard thing first, and as everyone follows them, instead of sitting in the back on their high horse directing and ordering people around. And I think those are two very different types of leaders. But I think you do both. But do you feel have you felt as you've gotten older, both in age but also as more time at Quinnipiac, have you felt yourself getting into any leadership or mentorship roles?
Like literally or just in terms?
Like literally. Or metaphorically.
Metaphorically, yeah.
Widowy.
Widowy.
He's widowing.
Well, of course, what I was able to do through Quinnipiac tonight, I was able to become an associate producer, which is you basically produce a comedy sketch, you direct it, you help write it, you edit the sketch. Usually producers edit their sketches, and then you're also helping during the live productions of that. So that was the first big leadership position I had here, and it's ironically something I didn't want because I wanted to be on a cast member for the show. And I auditioned my first semester here, and then my second semester here went 0 for 2. It's funny that was something I didn't want to do, but it ended up being something very formative for me in terms of finding my creative voice, in terms of just being able to like learn how to like actually direct a film and work with actors, and then get to work with everybody in a different way, because before then I had just been a crew member, kind of just helping out the producers and helping out the cast members. And then I was able to create some fun stuff, like some of my fondest memories at school are making sketches with, of course, you, Michael Castillo, hosts of It's Like That. Both of you, two of the funniest people, probably two funniest people I've ever met.
No.
I throw you in there, Liam, because you're definitely up there.
Appreciate it.
Liam's the sleeper pick.
He really is, in terms of like...
Liam is the Derek White
of funny people. Yeah, because it's just, of course, you're like little, like, when you add your 2 cents on like It's Like That, but just in general, you'll just say funny stuff at functions, and I'll just be dying.
I know when to drop a line or two.
Yeah, you're like a one-liner king.
You're literally Derek White. Because you just come in at the fourth quarter right when we need you.
Exactly.
But you aren't down you don't put it down our throats.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm checking the South score right now.
You'll never catch me dropping a 3, ever. I'm so bad at basketball. Wait, I have an idea for a Zicast esque transition right now.
Okay.
So I gotta think of how to phrase it. You're good at just doing this on the fly. I can't think. I gotta think of how I want to phrase it.
Okay.
So Ryan, we've been hearing so much about all the things in film you've been doing. See, I'm already fucking it up. I'll never be him. Okay. Anyway, I'll just put it my way. So like you've been talking about all this cool stuff you've been doing with film and stuff, and obviously you talked about you're an English major, but what kind of like made you want to transition and start doing some more stuff in film? Because I'm not sure how much you were doing of that at your old school.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously you came here, and it seems like even though it's your minor, you kind of fully embraced, that lifestyle, because it really is a lifestyle. Because you're always, it's very project based. So you're always, what's the next thing? What's the, and obviously as you've launched so many things and had so many projects that you've worked on. What do you think, is there like a moment like when you were growing up that like kind of, made you interested in pursuing more film stuff? Because I know obviously you talked about, interest in movies and stuff like that, but where do you think, wanting to get hands-on really stemmed from?
Yeah, it really, I like how you stems from, because that's always the word I use.
Did I? Damn, I lifted that phrase.
Yeah. Yeah, really it was... There was no film school. Like, I never did any film training, anything before I got to Quinnipiac. It wasn't available at my old school, just English major. That was the closest thing I had, because I had a strength in creative writing, which is really my first creative pursuit. Like, I had written some novels that I kind of just self-published through Amazon, which was like my OG fun fact before everything I've been able to do here at Quinnipiac. So that was really the first thing, and I just always loved movies. There's not like a moment I can pinpoint that really was like, oh, I want to make movies. It was just watching them growing up, wanting to tell stories, and movies are just the peak art form, because it combines every single thing that you can do in art, visually, in terms of audio, acting, anything you can think of, writing, anything you can think of, movies are a part of that in art. So that's why it was just something I always found myself to be drawn to. But to kind of second what I've said before about not believing in myself, not thinking, not having really any sense of like self-esteem, or self-worth. I just never tried it. And then I came here and I saw that, really what originally drew me to Quinnipiac was the QNLA program, which is something I also talked about when I was on Who Are You. That's the first thing that got me here, because I just saw the ability to go to Los Angeles, and my mind was going like, oh, I can go someplace else, because I really just wanted to get away from my hometown, North Haven, close by Quinnipiac, and just, it was a part of like the starting something new, was thinking like, oh, I can go to Los Angeles, and I'd always wanted to go there, Hollywood, but it's not exactly a place I was really equipped to like move to, but to see that I could go there and like a study abroad type program was just so encapsulating. And the first person I ever contacted at the school was Andres Rosende, the director of the program, and we
shout out
Fancy,
shout out Fancy. We love Fancy.
And yeah, Liam of course knows him because he did the program as well, and he and I just started exchanging emails about the program. And that was the first thing I ever did before I ever signed up for a class at Quinnipiac. I was talking to Andres about the QNLA program and what that looks like and everything. And he and I stayed in contact for a ton of time, and which I think is incredibly fitting considering the fact that he became my top mentor at Quinnipiac in terms of what he's been able to do in film and in podcasting and the way that he's navigated the entertainment industry, which is so ever-changing. I've completely sidetracked myself from where I was going. Oh, I was on my track to film. And then when I got to school, I almost like, I didn't really see a path. I was just like, oh, I want to go to Los Angeles and get away. But then I ended up finding out what Q30 is. I had no clue what Q30 is before I got to Quinnipiac, and I went to this like media summit, which is basically just like introducing new students to student media essentially. Yeah. And then Ryan Agnello told me about Quinnipiac tonight, and I'm like, oh, there's a sketch comedy club like Saturday Night Live, but Quinnipiac. So I'm like, oh, I'll audition for that. So it's funny that that's where the whole track started. And I remember I was in contact with Grace Doyle, who was my second guest on the Zicast, because she was like the representative for QUNLA, which is something kind of very, very nicely I was able to become following my time in Quinnipiac. And she told me more about Q30. She told me more about QNLA, and she introduced me to #that, which is the entertainment news show on campus. And my earliest memory of Liam is he and I shadowing a production of #that.
Yep, I remember
the first show
that.
of the year. Yeah, we were kind of like standing in the back, like awkwardly, while we were watching Liz Ippolito, also on the Zicast, Alex Kendall, also on the Zicast, lead the show. So just kind of seeing that, and then seeing that there were opportunities here, and I remember like seeing those early Q30 shows, and it was just like Kid in the Candy Store, Eyes Wide, like this is insane that this exists here. And then, of course, with my minor in film, television, media arts, I was able to be in actual film classes and learn how to like use a camera, which was just so foreign to me. And in still a lot of ways can be, because it's such a tough. A lot of equipment could be just really tough, and it's wild to reflect on those early times and the ways that like Q30 just awoken something kind of in me in terms of like passion film and just seeing opportunities.
Something giant.
Yes.
Like you're waking the giant.
Yes, like the giant. Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Anthony attempts a Ryan Ziaks transition.
No,
I'm telling you, man, they're fucking hard.
That was. I thought that was a solid like 5.
No, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, I saw where you were going with
that. Yeah, I thought that.
Ride the heart. I like it.
All right, I'm learning. Let me ask you this, because I want to circle back to Quinnipiac tonight, because I want to pick your brain on a few things.
Yeah.
What was it like? You do crew, right? Mm-hmm. You get your bearings. Am I still? Yeah, I'm still in shop. All right. You do crew for your first semester, get your bearings, and you become AP. What did you like about it? But more importantly, I'm curious, what did you not like about it? And then So what did you like and dislike about being an AP?
It was just the ability to kind of like what I mentioned, just gain filmmaking skills and just learn how to actually do that. Because so much of what I learned as an AP, I just learned on the job.
On the job, yeah. That's how you do a lot of things.
I had never directed a film before. I had never done. I'd seen people do it as a crew member, but I'd never done it myself.
Right.
And so a lot of that was just like picking up things like, oh, this didn't work. Why didn't this work? Well, I'll correct that for next time. And scheduling. Like I remember we had a sketch, my final sketch of the spring semester of 2020 four. Which was Brian Stefanski, another former guest on here, and his bike, his awesome bike we were showing off because it was his senior it was this kind of senior
send off,
because it was like basically the bit was like he was just doing all his bucket list things, but his bucket list things were ridiculous. And that sketch ended up taking forever, where we had to film another day, and I felt terrible because I just had people there, and that's where I learned to like schedule when people need to be there and only keep people there for when they need to be there. Yeah, that was a great testament to that. So I'm sorry for anybody who needed to be there for like 5-6 hours.
Fuck,
I know exactly. Taught me about editing. I had no clue how to edit anything before then, and then I had to kind of learn on the job how to edit film. So it's kind of just throwing me in the deep end of the pool. Yeah. But
experience is the best teacher.
Yeah. But then again, I had a lot of support, so I had some floaties that were able to keep me upright. Really, it would just be. A lot of it's because I am involved in so many things. My time became very it was difficult with time. That's really about it. It was really just like the time commitment, and then of course I ended up leaving before my final semester here, and that was a big component because I was working for the production house here on campus, and I was doing all my personal projects, and it just became a little too much. And then over time I was just kind of just less interested in doing it. I will admit it started during the casting process for that season, because I don't know
so I'm going to cut you off. What was the difference? Because as an AP, I think you work with two primary groups of people. You work with the writer and you work with the executive producers, and you work with the cast. But like and the actual worky work stuff and the leadership stuff, you work with them. What was the difference between working with Grace Parisi, Zicast guest? See, I'm picking up. Zicast, former Zicast guest.
Yes.
Grace Parisi and Aaron and Kate versus Jeff and Madison and Shayna and Ryan.
It's interesting because I feel like I was a different person with both of them in terms of how much I was into the club, but also I don't want to say my commitment level, but in terms of like what I wanted to do, because I was like I said before, I'll use like the kid in the candy store. That's what I was early on when I was working with Grace.
It's easy to have a lot of ideas and be fresh when you just come onto the scene.
Yeah, and working with Grace, she was our head writer, larger than life personality.
She looks like the Oval Office.
That's a bit they have. That's a bit they have, people. Don't worry.
Chat. It's never mind.
But no, and she's always a ton of fun to be around. She always let me do whatever ideas I wanted. Like if I went to her with something like I want to do this thing, or write in something that would work for this shot, she would always be receptive to that. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, she took command and she had her style.
Yeah.
And the show was creatively her show. I respected her vision. I respected her, and she was always nice to me, and so was everyone, really. I had a good experience with both leadership groups. And you bring up Jeff and Madison, of course. Jeff, one of my...
How is that different?
Of course, Madison, another English major. She's very smart, and I worked with Jeff mostly. Usually just ended up being Jeff, and of course he and I very close. So when I've always tried to give good advice to and work with, and working with Jeff was always fun because it's just great seeing him step into something different, because he was always, the kind of Quinnipiac Tonight workhorse kind of superstar that you would end up becoming, Anthony.
Yeah.
And to see him in this role, I was always very proud of him. And I knew it was difficult for him with a lot of managing time, and I always applauded him for his efforts, and same with Madison. So working with them was always fun. And when I did get to work with Madison, she was always receptive to ideas, just like Jeff was. And no, they're just cool people, and I enjoyed them both. And then same with the rest of the leadership group. It was really just over time I became a little more distant because to put it frankly, I didn't want to be there anymore. Yeah. Or I didn't want to work there anymore. But I never tried to let it impact my work nor the way that I treated people. And I would confidently say it didn't. Maybe that's not up for me, but I always
don't think it did.
Wanted to put on a good face for everything and to never try to bring down the club at all. But it was very much I know you wanted to talk about the auditions, but I will always love the club, and that's why like when it was my time to return for a senior show, or I helped out our friend Megan Haley on one of her sketches because she needed to use the podcast studio. I was always happy to because I love Quinnipiac Tonight, and like I said, it literally changed my life. I kind of, in a sense, outgrew it wanting different things.
I think that's an important sign of growth too, because like obviously I feel like a big theme of this episode has been growth and progress. Yeah. But I think knowing when to move on is important too, because obviously, you know, it's a situation you've dealt with before. And I think that, you know, coming to Quinnipiac kind of equipped you to, you know, recognize the signs of like, okay, I'm not getting what I want out of what I'm doing right now, so I'm going to move on and do other stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? It's good. And I think it's important to be able to adapt to new situations and not let yourself get too comfortable.
Definitely.
Because now is like, you know, we're at that age where it's like, get out, you know, experience as many things as you can. And I think even, you know, on a smaller level like that, it's, you know, it shows that, you know, you're willing to, you know, be there and put on a good face and work as hard as you can. But when you feel like you don't have that in you anymore, you know, going on and putting your efforts in somewhere else where, you know, they can be more productive.
Definitely. And then that resulted in us starting It's Like That, because I didn't have Quinnipiac Tonight, some more free time. I could start a podcast with you and Castillo, and in my own ways, of course, like a lot of the skills I picked up from being in Los Angeles of 7 at Keys and then doing this, I had so much fun doing that, and I needed to move on from Quinnipiac Tonight in order to jump into that. Yeah. And did you want to bring up the auditions?
I think it's interesting. Again, Liam being completely wise and doing what I'm saying.
Very wise.
I think
you're allowed to laugh, Anthony. All right, dick. See, now I got him.
Yeah.
That's usually not one of my bits where I like don't laugh. Like usually my bits are like, you know. No, that was funny.
Thank you.
I'm very locked in.
Yeah.
You know, this is not my usual.
He's in a different seat. He doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
I'm usually in a different headspace, but this is great. I like listening to you talk, so I'm very locked in on you. But talk about what you're referring to with the Star of the Year cast. So what was the deal with that? What was the deal? Because obviously, I think at the end of the day, our heart knows what it wants. But our heart doesn't just change on a whim. I think certain things led up to your decision to leave. And in the long run, it worked out, which I want to touch on as well. But there's a lot of things I want to touch right now.
Yeah.
Mainly you. But Hey, yo. Talk about reapplying as an AP over the summer. And tell me about everything before the first show of the year.
I like what you bring up about heart not being in it, and this kind of like also stems from like, because I just returned from Los Angeles right before that semester where I ended up kind of falling out of love with being an AP for Quinnipiac Tonight. And a lot of that stems from we stepped into auditions, which is one of the first things we did. I know it just felt weird judging other people's performances when I myself wasn't able to make the cut, and that's something I just didn't like whatsoever.
Was it like, and forgive me for being blunt, but is it like we're taking people right now and I gave a better audition than them a few months ago, and I didn't even get in, but we're letting these people in.
It's weird because I feel like I didn't audition well, but it was more so I was so involved with the cast.
Sometimes you just have an off day. Like, it happens. I think what you struggled with, and I think what you've learned, internalized, whether you realize it or not, is that sometimes the best lessons are we see what other people are doing, and sometimes we learn what not to do. And I think you saw a lot of that. The lights just shut off outside. You saw when you get rejected, and it sucks because last year, really competitive to get on cast. And like, I think you would have been great. But it's hard to get in spring semester because it's like there's already a full, like, it's like it's very hard. And maybe you had an off day, but like, whatever, it's in the past. I mean, you know what, in the long run it really did work out.
But I agree.
But I think it's worth talking about because when facing rejection, you're going to be upset no matter what. Right? But sometimes you kind of have to throw in something that's going to be mean at first. But you kind of have to let the person internalize that. And then a week later and a month later, they're like, I'm upset. I was upset, but they said this in the moment. And after reflecting on it, I see where they're coming from. And I think even a big belief that I have personally, and I don't know if you feel the same way, is that I never like to take criticism from people that I wouldn't take advice from. Meaning just like people that actually care about you are going to be honest with you, and then that's what you really want to listen to, not like some random haters. And like, obviously people in Quinnipiac tonight aren't haters because everyone loves you, but I think it's very understandable. I would have been more pissed than, like, if I was in your shoes, I would have been like really upset.
It's ironic because over time it's something I didn't really want anymore, and kind of like we've noted on here, things happen for a reason, that happened for a reason. But it did, and I think also it's interesting is that it led to me leaving AP, which was better for me. Because I just saw the audition process, and it just put a sour taste in my mouth immediately, which carried on for the rest of the semester, leading to me leaving, leading to me starting It's Like That. Which I forget how that popped into my head, but I was like, it's more so just working with you and Anthony. You and Castillo. Anthony's his middle name, so I was almost there.
Wait, pause. That's his middle? Really?
I think so.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's Michael Anthony Castillo.
Yeah.
I like how I said that as if I was like proving it to be a fact by just saying the name.
But and
I'm like 6'5". Isn't that right, Liam?
Yeah.
And
we got like one of those Lord of the Ring tables right now, like the forced perspectives.
Yeah. And then It's Like That became one of the favorite things I've ever done. Period. And I'm excited to see continue to be carried on. And like, it's just bad things lead to good things. But like I said, I always love Quinnipiac Tonight. I always love the people involved in Quinnipiac Tonight.
I think pressure makes diamonds.
You
know, I mean, it sucks in the moment, but I think in the long run, it kind of, you wanted to go down a certain way, you got a roadblock, kind of dealt a bad hand.
It's part of the arc.
It's part of the arc. Yeah.
You know, in the third act, at the end of the second act, you kind of have to low in order to get to your high. And I think that sidestep. But you think about, like, future interviews, you think about if you are, if you're casting, if you're doing a bunch of stuff, you kind of know what it's been like on the other side auditioning. So you kind of know the thought process, the nerves, the anxiousness, the joy if you get it, the anger if you don't. And I feel like because of that experience, I think what sucks is that we have bad experiences, we have failures, and we learn from them, but we don't get to go back and enjoy the thing that we wanted to. I think what happens is that when the next person is going to what you wanted in the past, you can help them and support them. Like I, for one, didn't know anything about podcasting, right?
Yeah.
But you started your own. You started this, and then because of your experiences, you have experiences with the filmmaking experience. You have your Q in LA. You gained all this knowledge, and because of that, you were able to pass it down onto me, Castillo, and Liam, in a little bit, because Liam's a lot smarter than I am.
Not true.
But I think I can relate to a lot what you're talking about. I think reaching out, especially when people are still finding their way, I think it sticks with people. You know?
Yeah.
And I think you've done that for so many people. I think that's why there is this aura around you, for lack of a better term, because you are constantly reaching out to people and your network is so big. But it's because you oftentimes make the first step.
Yeah.
And even if some people don't reciprocate, 9 times out of 10 people will, because you're like such a great person. And I think it's because of it. You are like the glue that holds so many people together, because everyone has a Ziaks story.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hopefully good stories.
But everyone has.
Yeah.
This fly, man.
I didn't even mean to say that, but it's like everyone has had experiences with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think of also something you said is to be loved is to be known. And I know I
say that? That's crazy.
Echoed something like that earlier in the episode, that I've never really been known before. And to have this wide network of people where people, it's communications in film space mostly, just like will know who I am, even if I haven't met them.
Yeah.
That's something I never really had. Of course, when I was in LA, I was able to go on a Bad Friends podcast, had that really funny clip where Bobby Lee said he wanted to dig his thumbs into my Adam's apple and all that. And that was a whole amazing experience that I was fortunate to do and I've been able to talk about a lot. When I would go around Los Angeles, people would recognize me. There were Reddit forums about me. Which
No
is wild.
way.
What?
There's people calling me. Well, there's people like, who is this kid? Like they were like talking about me, and then they were like comparing me to Homelander and all that.
Really?
So, like if you Google me, you'll see Ryan Ziaks Bad Friends.
That's fucking
Because
crazy.
You know what? I'm Googling it right now.
Finding the
Jamie.
Jamie, pull it up, Jamie.
Jamie pulled the clip.
I don't know if like maybe they're hidden. But I remember I didn't even see like people I would work with, which is like, hey Ryan, take a look at this, and they would just like show me the Reddit forums. It's funny. After I went on Bad Friends, Andres texted me, "How was your 15 minutes of fame?"
Yeah, but I feel like that's such a cool thing too, because I feel like from what you've told me, it seems like being in a situation like that seems like that would be something that would like probably make you uncomfortable in the past. Like kind of like, even though obviously like you were a part of the episode, the whole focus wasn't on you, but like, but even just like being in the spotlight like that and just like people are just fucking around calling you Homelander and stuff. But like it can be kind of weird, you know what I mean? Like having people talk about you and be in a space like that. But I think, I mean, obviously you've said that you've published novels and stuff in the past, but like I think that it's really interesting because I feel like I've heard with a lot of creative people, like they have it inside of them and they always have that feeling like they have something they want to say. Yeah. But it's really just taking that step and like being able to like express yourself. Especially as a person that has difficulty doing that sometimes or has had struggled with that in the past. It's a really interesting like dichotomy because it's like you have all these things you want to say, but it almost feels like you're restricted by like the type of person you are. But I think it's cool because as people we grow and we change, and the ability to realize that you have control of your life. You can be what you want to be, and you can, take steps like, going to Los Angeles, starting a podcast, getting involved with Q Tonight, getting involved with hashtag. You can take those steps and, in the moment it's like, okay, I'm just doing this thing, but it really adds up to like a bigger picture. And I think like you said from the very beginning, like it really, it's these little pieces that are helping to build you up to something bigger. And I think what's really cool about the podcast, what you were able to do in LA, it's not just you. You're kind of bringing other people up with you. You know what I mean? Like you're using your platform to, like you always say, share other people's stories. Everyone has a story.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from a place where it's like having being someone who, and I can very much relate to this, like, not being able to voice themselves, especially in the way that they feel like they can, just giving other people that voice, I think has been huge. You know what I mean? It's been huge for you, but like I said, it's been huge for other people. And I think that's what's so awesome about your legacy here. And why I'm so happy to like be a part of it is like, it's bigger than you. You know what I mean? It's very much like your own little culture that you've built of positivity and, getting people to open up who don't always have an opportunity to do that.
Thank you, Liam. Yeah, that's something I always set out to do. I think about what I wrote for my senior speech for #that when you and I were on desk, and I said that the greatest joy I've had here was just being able to lift up others, and of course naturally be like bringing them on the Zicast. But I think of like giving you the opportunity to like be a technical director, and I hope that's like something you can put on your resume or mention in an interview. Which reminds me, my original technical director, who I wanted to bring up in some capacity, was Casey McNichol, who used to be she used to be the head engineer for Q30. She used to help run the show, and she's one of my great mentors and great friends here at Quinnipiac. She interviewed and got the job for NFL Films, and she mentioned the Zicast in her interview in terms of time management and technical directing. And like I mentioned, she got the job. Sure, there was a lot more to it in terms of her Q30 experience and elsewhere.
They were unsure, but as soon as she got the Zicast,
she actually had no resume at all. She walked in, said the word Zicast, and they go, "You're hired." Hired.
And of course, her and her passion, her work ethic. But the fact that like that could be something that's, even if she just mentioned it in passing, for example, the fact that that was able to be a part of something that landed her a really cool job. Like she was able to meet Jason Kelsey and work for the NFL. She worked for the WWE as well. Like she has an incredible resume.
That's awesome.
The fact that that was able to be mentioned is something that I'm so happy, and that the fact that I was able to give like you an opportunity, Anthony, to act in my film Tragic Times for Mr. Comedy. I always joke it's like your Adam Sandler Uncut Gems role, and just to give you the opportunity to act and show people just how talented you are. Same with Olivia Mastromarino, who was your co-star. She said that when she was in theater, when I had her on the Zicast, and she mentioned that when she was in theater, she struggled to get a lot of big parts, and it made me happy to know that I was able to give her an opportunity to act in some serious scenes. And like another star of the movie, Caroline, who had a role as Stacy, she mentioned that she didn't really do much acting, but actually it was our friend Armand who put her on to the movie, because she said like, oh, this guy Ryan's directing this project, and that Armand said like, oh, I lived in LA with him, he's cool, go, if you're interested in this film, go audition. And then that was something. So being able to do that with people, and then it harkens back to Up Late, where I had people doing a bunch of different roles, a bunch of stuff that they had never done before. Like I remember you mentioning, Liam, like you've done a ton of stuff with #that, which is in our control room, not our control room, or media suite. But Up Late was like a live show, much more like a theater-y live show like Quinnipiac Tonight is. And I remember you mentioning like, oh, I've never really been able to work on something like this, and to be able to like give people new experiences like that in different roles than they've ever had was something that I look back on fondly. And yeah, and like I mentioned, like with the Zicast, just letting people just be able to speak their truth. Like I told people to talk about whatever they want, and the fact that it gave people a platform that they wouldn't otherwise have is a great gift. And I hope that it's something that people, of course, look back on fondly. But I'm just happy to be a part of other people's stories.
That was an awesome way to put it. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about your movie?
I could, yeah, definitely. Tragic Times for Mr. Comedy that I mentioned that Anthony was in. So I wrote a screenplay for great. Thank you for the Quinnipiac Film Society, Big Film Society, or Big Film Club here on Quinnipiac. And I wrote a script for it actually in the spring semester of 2024. I sent it in, but it didn't get taken, so I kind of just sat on it for a while, and then when spring semester 2025 rolled around, I submitted it again, just why not, and ended up getting taken, which was a surprise to me, but also it lit something up in me, because it was like, this is my last hurrah, this is my last big, non-podcast project here at Quinnipiac, and so I immediately kind of locked into that, and the casting process.
And talk to me about the casting process. And I imagine you had a different perspective on it because of the struggles of casting for Quinnipiac Tonight.
And that's especially something I want to do with the film, because I really want to be like an actor's director, if that makes any sense, in terms of, because I feel like with a lot of student films, of course, it's made by film students who want to show off cinematography and lighting. They know how to make a film, but
the acting isn't that good.
I think it's important to have really good acting, because I think that creates a difference. And when I think about films, I love Hollywood. Hollywood's driven by stars, and you want big, charismatic performances, and that's why immediately I wanted you to be Mr. Comedy, because I think you could play the kind of manic and wiry nature of him. We got a lot of really awesome auditions, and I know it's a brave thing to do, to audition, humanizing, intimidating, courageous thing to do, and I always understand that.
Open yourself up
to these people watching you and taking notes, and and that's especially why before we shot, they usually don't do rehearsals for the actors, but I wanted to make sure we did, because I wanted people to get chemistry with each other and be able to work with each other before the lights were on and we were filming scenes. And the actual filming process of that is something I'm still very nostalgic for, in terms of just like how difficult it was to find the actual locations. Then when we were able to film, it was just such a blast working with everyone, bringing these people together. And it's kind of like Up Late in the sense of people all together for my vision, since I wrote the script, since I'm directing, and I wanted to just live up to that, to everyone being there for my vision. And of course, people are there to gain experience on film sets and to have something for their portfolio, like our cinematographers Emma and Tyler, and they have something now to show people when they want to put on the resume, their portfolio. And of course, you, in terms of your acting, I know our friend MKF is going to put it on his portfolio. So that's another way of like helping people through my work, and seeing, it's just wild to see something I wrote be put to film, and something that I was truly, truly passionate about, and that's distinctly my own. Because a lot of Quinnipiac Tonight scripts, I'm working with Grace or Jeff or Madison to help put that together, and that's more of their vision. It's crazy to see.
This time it was all you.
Yeah, this time it's all me, and of course I had other film projects, but nothing of this magnitude in terms of the size and scale of the crew, and it was just another great honor to just be able to work with everyone and be able to see this come to fruition. Have one of my close friends, Joe Flynn. Good friend Joe Flynn, edit it too and work with him on that. I'm happy I was able to get Liam in there as an extra. He's sitting, you could see him in the theater scene sitting next to you, Anthony.
But I think it's so special, especially harkening back to what we were talking about earlier, where you come in not too sure of yourself, got a lot of demons.
Yeah.
Even at the start of this year, Hearts Not in Quinnipiac Tonight, and Up Late kind of doesn't go your way. But because of your struggles when you were younger, you turned into the person that you are now. Because of the struggles of not being on cast, facing that rejection, facing that dehumanization of it. You know how to humanize with people. Because of your introvertedness, you start a podcast where you talk to people all the time. You have this idea for a show, and it gets rejected again with the inhumanness. And what do? You make an art form that's the best art form that combines everything,
Yeah.
as you eloquently put it. And that's what you end your college career on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great way to put it, and something that's very much speaks to me, because I that actually is a great reminder. Is I wrote that as a lot of my feelings of not making Quinnipiac Tonight cast,
Yeah.
and as I became more of a campus micro celebrity,
Yeah.
I kind of felt like, I feel like I always said there's a piece of Mr. Comedy in all of us, in terms of the darker nature of being a passionate, ambitious, and creative person, and the lengths that will take people.
Yeah.
And of course, for those who don't know, it's basically the movies about a internet micro celebrity who's chasing a viral video and who is obsessed with a famous comedian. And I think it's also based.
And he's a pussy.
Yeah.
He's all pussy. Like, he's such a loser.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing too much.
And it's inspired by a film that I saw at Sundance. That's another thing I was able to do. I was able to go to the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah 2 times, which was an incredible experience. I saw a film there called A Different Man with Sebastian Stan. I don't know if either of you have seen it.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it, right? It's the one where he's got, like, the elephantitis.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Or he's got some kind of disorder.
And his face is really messed up. It's on a film that I would even consider one of my favorites, but there's never been a film that stuck with me quite like that film. And it's a film I think about constantly, because
What's the movie about?
it's actually based on The Truest Eye, or it's like taken inspiration from the novel Truest Eye by Toni Morrison, something I've read in my time as an English major. And it's basically, he kind of like what Liam described, has like a facial deformities. So he's always lived with the facial deformities. But he goes through this experimental procedure where he gets that taken off. So he goes from living his life as someone has extreme facial deformities and looks like a monster, to looking like Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
And the way that immediately triggers change in his brain. And something else that's important about the character is that he's an actor. So he wasn't getting roles because he looked the way he did.
Yeah.
But then he looks like Sebastian Stan. So then he starts trying to act. But then someone with the exact same facial deformity joins his like theater troupe and then steals his role. And he gets the role that Sebastian Stan wants. But he's everything Sebastian Stan's not, because he's charismatic and he's, most importantly, not insecure in the ways that Sebastian Stan was. Despite having the same facial deformities and experiencing these same things, he's more sure of himself, where Sebastian Stan was not.
And what made it so impactful for you?
Seeing the drastic change in yourself very rapidly. And for me, it would be like my facial deformities in this sense would be because I had an extreme weight loss where I've lost 80 pounds now since I was in high school.
Damn.
And that's something I was always heavier, and I could tell I was always treated differently because of that.
Yeah.
And then I lost a ton of weight, and then I look better. You just naturally just look better when you go through a weight loss like that. No Ozempic involved, in case anyone was wondering.
No, it's all natural, baby.
Exactly. And then you start to be treated differently, and it starts to wire your brain differently. And then also of like growing up always being very insecure, not having a ton of self-worth, having a ton of self-esteem, and then suddenly kind of gaining that, but then also feeling it impacting you, and then sometimes reverting back to where you were. That's why that film sticks with me. It's just ingrained in my brain. It's something, like I said, I've never had a film impact me. And that's another thing I love about film, is that it impacts you in ways that you can't put into words truly. Yeah. In some films. And some people, everybody has their kind of a different man in a sense. But that is mine, and that's something that is just ingrained in my brain and my soul, not to be too sappy or dramatic, because it's something that I think about a lot, and it's something that influenced me to create Mr. Comedy as someone who's this kind of darker reflection of human nature, and someone who just wants fame and validation in any way, and wants to be someone in any way, and then the negative repercussions of that.
I think it's also powerful that this character in these experiences kind of sum up all of the pain that you've had in the past. And when does this happen? When does this kind of all from tuition? Where does the script come to fruition? When you're about to leave, and when you're the most complete version of yourself that you've ever been.
Yeah.
And I wonder if everything does happen for a reason. I think you were meant to make that movie exactly when you were supposed to.
Yeah.
Because I think if that script had gone accepted, you wouldn't have been able to give it the best shot it deserved.
Yeah.
Because you kind of need that headspace, and you kind of needed to outgrow that part. Not that, like, and obviously you exaggerated the whininess of it for the movie. But I think that piece of art that you've created is a microcosm of the demons of your past. But I think now you're about to graduate. You're about to step into a lot of new and exciting things. I think you're now able to finally put it behind you. Because even at the start of this year, you had some lingering things. Halfway through this year, leaving Quinnipiac tonight, facing the rejection of Upweight, starting on new things. But look at you now. All these things are kind of ending, and it's scary. I imagine it is, but I think you are exactly where you're supposed to be. I think you're doing all the things that you can, all the things that you should. And I think you're leaving this school with nothing in the tank.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're nervous about finding work, if you're nervous about, being home, if you get to September, October, you see people on social media that are still here posted. You're going to see me post podcast clips and Quinnipiac Tonight stuff. When you feel that FOMO, you're like, well, you know what? It will always be a part of me.
Yeah.
But that part of my life is older, and I've able to grow to a place where I'm doing a lot of cool but different things. Because, you think, what I always think of is Donald Glover on Community. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Because it was one of the best parts of that show, and kind of got a big name from that show. I mean, he'd been in quite a few things, but that was like one of his first really big things. Heart and soul of the show. And then starting season 5, he just leaves. And it wasn't over like a contract dispute. It wasn't all of that. He just kind of got tired of it, and quoting him, he just didn't feel like doing it anymore. And for years, I've been because it always sucks when an actor leaves a show that you like, because it's never as good, especially if they're really good. And I never really understood it until I've met people like you, especially very creative people like yourself, where I think the best people know, as Liam said, how to move on, and how to, not that you don't enjoy it anymore. I think you still enjoyed Quinnipiac Tonight, even when you were kind of ready to be done. But I feel like everything you've done here at Quinnipiac has been a staircase, and I think you're at the top of that stair. I think you come in as crew. I think you start the Zicast. Then you audition for cast, don't get it. Then you become an AP. Then you go to LA. That's a flight of stairs up. Zicast is continuing. You start in AP with a different group of people. You start working with Jeff. You do Upweight, big step. You leave Quinnipiac Tonight. That's another step. You start. It's like that big step. You do the QFS production. huge stuff, and now look at where you are now.
Yeah.
Like, are you excited for what's coming next?
I always say it's a bittersweet feeling, just because you can't exactly see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. Even if you kind of know it's there, you don't know what it will look like. And I always think it's funny. It goes without saying that, when all of these episodes are coming out, it's going to be so long after they were actually recorded to a hilarious degree. Like, I have no clue where I'll be when this drops.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be like, this was always meant to be the time capsule, the Zicast, and this will be the ultimate time capsule, because I hope that I'll be an even different person now as in when this actually releases, hopefully. Hopefully, as in terms of, like,
imagine the footage corrupts. That would be so funny.
It's all good. No, we got all the footage.
I meant in terms of like, hopefully I'm a positive, positive growth. I have no clue where I'll be.
But isn't that exciting?
Yeah. So I can look back on this and kind of see that, which is what the Zicast always was meant to be, and that's one other thing I'm happy with it, is it always kind of stayed with that, even as I expanded it, even as I saw it more, in terms of like a business, so to speak. This is essentially the Zicast promise, was making a time capsule for myself, and this will be a time capsule for all of this, with two people who I'm very fond of, who I got very close to, and of course you, Anthony, is that you've always seen me in a very positive light, and in a more profound and deeper light than I feel like just about anyone has, which is why I thought you'd be perfect to bring on here when I was considering the 100th episode. And like I said, like, I actually, in terms of what I just said, more like, me probably better than just about anyone, which is why I'm happy to be here, of course, with the both of you, just being able to share this, because this is probably the most I've ever forgotten that the cameras were on during an episode of the Zicast, and the most present I've been, which is something I struggle to be, because my mind's always in different places. So it's funny that I now give myself the opportunity to speak about myself and things that I typically would not share.
Very deep.
That is very deep. Yeah, and
we think we're getting to that point.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, towards the, because I got a Project Pat quote that I want to finish off.
Okay. I would.
Yeah, if you got more stuff, obviously, I can hold off. Project Pat can wait.
Of course. Yeah, really, it's just I hope I could be someone special one day. I hope I can continue to do the things I love. And I hope that life takes me in more unexpected places. Of course, Anthony, I glazed you. But Liam, you helping on the show has meant so much, because, like I said, you've been my primary technical director now for the majority of the episodes. And having you here, having someone like one of my better friends that I've ever had, being able to collaborate with you being so reliable and always being here whenever I would call upon you, and then always being there for a fun conversation, getting to, go out on the weekends with you and all that. It's been more fun than and has meant more to me than So, like, being able to just be your friend, Liam, has meant so much. And of course, same with you, Anthony. And yeah, I'm just overjoyed that you could be kind of a huge part of the Zicast legacy, or both of you, that you're both such a big part of the Zicast legacy.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, I've had so much fun doing this, and it is interesting, even though we had pretty different paths getting to here to the show. I think we can relate on a lot of stuff, because even though I came to QU as a freshman, we joined Q30 at the same time, which I don't know if a lot of people watching know, but like so I feel like in a lot of ways we kind of came up together through it, because I was just, even though I was established at the school and I knew a lot of people from class, I didn't know shit about Q30. I was like, I had heard things over the years. I might have known a little bit more than you did, but I was kind of coming in blind, and I think having you there, as another person coming in. It's funny, actually, you mentioned the first hashtag show. I think it's where we met. Yeah. I was so unfamiliar with like that specific group, because obviously I knew the people that were in our grade. But I was like, oh, who's this guy? Like, he must just be like, I thought you were just someone that that was part of the station already, and then they're like, oh no, he's gonna be shadowing too, and I was like, oh cool, like there's someone else here who's in the same boat as me, and this is before I knew that you had transferred in and all that.
Same with me with Quarterback tonight.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways our paths we've kind of walked the same path. And yeah, man, I wouldn't have wanted to walk it with anyone else. Like just having such a positive person there that's like always in your corner and wants to see you win and doing your thing has been huge. So I mean, I'm glad that it's been like such a cool mutual relationship where we're just able to really build each other up, and at the same time watch each other grow, because we both really grown a lot over the past 2 years knowing each other. So it's been dope, dude. And I mean, I feel like a lot of this feels like end of a chapter, but I feel like in a lot of ways it's really just the beginning, you know what I mean? Because obviously like we live in different states and stuff, but like you never know.
Exactly.
Especially in the film world, it's a small world, and even communications at large. So I don't think this is a goodbye. It's more just like an end of a really cool era. And and life has a funny way of reconnecting people and having things come full circle, like you said with Grace Doyle and being like QUNLA ambassador. You came in and you were like interested in the LA program. And she kind of took you under your wing, and you went to LA, did your thing, you were thriving out there. And you kind of came back, and obviously I wasn't there for it, but I'm sure you very much were like a voice for people that were thinking of going out there, or still are thinking of going out there, and it's really cool how life kind of reconnects and brings things full circle like that.
And you had your project Pat. Cool.
Oh yeah, I guess I can drop that now. Fair warning, I'm reading it off of Genius, so it might be wrong. I just don't want to misquote Project Pat, so don't kill me, Project Pat fans. He says, "Take the good with the bad, smile with the sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. Messing with the ones who helped me in the times when I was flat broke and didn't even have a dime."
I think that's the perfect summary. of this episode, this culmination of my time at Quinnipiac here on the Zicast. Of course, I want to continue doing this in whatever capacity that will look like, and even the future of this show is uncertain. It's been the true time of my life getting able to do this, and I just appreciate all of those who've watched and been a part of the journey, like you two. I don't know if you guys have anything you'd want to wrap the show up with.
For someone that usually is always yapping and always has something to say, it's been really nice sitting here and being very quiet. I like hearing you talk. But to add on to what Liam said, I think, and I've told you this with the senior videos, I've told you this in person before, but you were one of my biggest role models here, and I would not be half the man I am before college, during college, and after college without you. And I am devastated that you are leaving, because I think a part of me, like a huge part of my heart, is with you. And not being able to see you all the time is going to break it a little bit. But it will mend, because I'm only going to be here for 2 more years. And then I'm going to go off and do stuff. But what'll make me so happy is that seeing you go out and thrive wherever and whenever it happens. Because you know what? Based on our conversations now, everything good does not happen all at once. And I think a lot of your journey has been a cycle of some struggles and some growth, and then the result of that is something really good, and then you grow and learn and face some pressure, and then you go and do something else. So I know that no matter what happens, even if you get a job and it goes great for 3 years, and then something happens, and then you're in between things, or you don't get something right away, and you're kind of around, and you're not really sure what you're doing. I know that out of everyone on this entire planet, things will go your way. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you for all of the work that you've done, helping me with Quinnipiac Tonight, helping me with It's Like That, being able to speak on this, both in episode 50 and episode 100 in the holiday special, but also just as a friend, as when what sucks is that I don't go to you unless if it's not serious. So I feel like I've had a lot of really serious conversations with you about like really serious, like upsetting things that I've had in the past. But I feel like you are a lighthouse in a really dark ocean where I feel like I can just look to what you're doing. I can just look to how you act, and I can just swim my way back to you, and I know everything's going to work out. So, and for that, I'm eternally grateful.
And same to you, Anthony, as you're always my go-to for those same types of conversations. And I as of course English major, I enjoy those metaphors. Lighthouse, that's very profound, and I very much say the same to you, Anthony, and you, Liam. Like it's gonna be really tough not having your friends just right around the corner from you, but I'm excited to see where things will go, and I appreciate all the kind words said, as I think that it's also in the style of what I want to do with the show, and that's kind of just appreciate people for who they are, because it's very easy to always, like that what's been said, to slide under people's radar, and I never wanted that to happen to people, and I'm happy to do that, and I'm happy that I was able to be on here and truly share my own story and get to connect in that way with everyone, because I know this is for hardcore fans. This episode, this is not for the casual viewers. So I'm very appreciative of you both for doing this, and of all the great people I've met here, all the great people I've worked with, all the people that I wish could just be piled into the studio for this really amazing moment. And I'm just very grateful and very excited for where the show will go. Do you guys have anything else to add, or I'll sign us off?
I think that's it. You guys wrapped it up awesome, and I think I think this is, I want to call it the fly cast because of the fly going around.
Cast, yeah.
But I think this is the honesty cast. It's the real cast, and I know that we try to get a lot of that, but I think this has been really cool getting to hear your side of the story, a side that we don't get to hear very often. And I think when you're ready, do your thing. Yeah, as they say. All right, Anthony, I'm gonna wrap this up. Bad quote to use. This is Anthony Aicardi, Liam Chen, and Ryan Ziaks with the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. We'll see you again, and I'll see you soon.